was supposed to be a fun weekend camping trip with my friends. We had packed up our tents, food, and gear and set out for a secluded spot in the woods. Little did I know that this trip would turn into a nightmare that would haunt me for the rest of my days. As we hiked deeper into the woods, the sun began to set, casting deep shadows on the forest floor. The air grew colder and a heavy mist descended around us, creating an airy atmosphere that sent shivers down my spine. I tried to shake off my unease, telling myself that it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. We finally reached our campsite and quickly set up our tents. The crackling of the fire and the sound of laughter from my friends helped to chase away the darkness that threatened to envelop me. However, as the night wore on, a sense of unease began to settle over me once more. I tossed and turned in my sleeping bag, unable to shake the feeling that something was watching me from the shadows. Every rustle of the leaves, every snap of a twig, sent a wave of fear coursing through me. I tried to convince myself that it was just the wind or an animal roaming the forest, but then I heard it. A soft whispering voice, barely audible above the sounds of the night. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest as the voice grew louder, closer. It spoke in a language I couldn't understand, its words slithering into my mind like tendrils of smoke. I tried to wake my friends, but they slept on, oblivious to the presence that lurked in the darkness. As the voice grew stronger, I felt a cold grip on my soul, pulling me towards a place of unimaginable terror. I felt as if I was being drawn into another world, where the laws of nature no longer held sway. I stumbled out of my tent, my feet carrying me towards the source of the voice. I found myself standing at the edge of a clearing, where a figure stood in the moonlight. It was a ghostly figure, shimmering and translucent, its eyes filled with a malevolent hunger. I tried to run, but my feet were rooted to the spot. The figure beckoned to me, its voice a soft melody that filled me with dread. I felt its icy touch on my skin, sending a wave of terror through me. I closed my eyes, trying to shut out the horror that surrounded me. But when I opened them again, I was no longer in the forest. I stood in a desolate landscape where twisted trees reached towards a blood-red sky and the ground rift with unseen horrors. I was trapped in a nightmare of my own making, a world where the dead walked among the living and terror reigned supreme. And as the ghostly figure loomed over me, its eyes filled with malice, I knew that I would never escape its grasp. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, I awoke in my tent, covered in sweat and shaking with fear. My friends stood around me, unaware of the horrors that I had witnessed in the night. I tried to tell them what had happened, but my words fell on deaf ears. They laughed it off as a bad dream, a trick of the mind brought on by the isolation of the forest. But I knew the truth. I had come face to face with a ghostly presence that defied all reason and logic. And as we packed up our campsite and made our way back to civilization, I knew that the memory of that unsettling, eerie night would haunt me forever. The ghost would always be there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the moment when it could reclaim my soul and drag me back into the depths of its twisted realm.